Welcome to the Aligned Ambition Show, where we share women's entrepreneurial wisdom. Are you a woman starting or growing your online heart-centered business? Are you wanting to do things differently? Do you feel icky about using manipulative marketing tactics and are ready to align your business with your ethics, values, and life goals? If this sounds like you, then stick around for this conversation.
We're the dreamers, the believers, breaking through the mold, building up our visions with a purpose brave and bold.
All right. Welcome to the Aligned Ambitions Show. I'm your host, Larissa Russell, and today I have with me Trish Springsteen. And Trish works with organizations and individuals who want to showcase their businesses to increase visibility, to make it easy for their clients to find them, and have the confidence and self-belief to speak with them. Trish is known as the Get Known, Be Seen specialist. So welcome, Trish.
Hi, Larissa. I'm delighted to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you. I know it's like early in the morning for you, isn't it?
Oh, it's not too bad. It's around about 6:30 a.m., which is about early in the morning for me.
Yes, of tomorrow.
Yes, I'm in your future.
It's Wednesday for us, Thursday for you. And before we get into the questions I absolutely want to ask you, can you tell us just a little bit more about you and how you ended up doing what you do?
Right. Well, what might surprise many people when they get to know me is I'm an introvert. And many years ago, way back when I call the Jurassic period, I wasn't just an introvert, I was an extremely shy person. So anybody who sees me now, who knew me then, often rolls around on the floor laughing because at that stage, there was no reason, no why. I would never have had a business, never even thought about having a business, and let alone speaking, let alone being an author, wasn't in that. How did I happen to do it? I fell into it in a way, We moved cities and I walked through a door. I walked through a door about 30 years ago. And that door ended up giving me the courage and the self-belief to step up and speak. And I discovered I had a voice. I discovered I had stories. I discovered that people sometimes might want to hear some of my stories, and fell in love with training, fell in love with speaking. And I guess you could say the rest is history to a certain extent. Started my own business, and here we are. And I've got so many years of explorations, realizations, a journey that's been like, it's not been a flat journey. It has been an up and down journey, as most journeys are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And we met, I think it's been about 5 years now. We were in a book together, right? We worked on a book together and then became friends and have continued that. And just on that note, talking about collaborations, right, which is a core value for me, and how important they can be as an entrepreneur to collaborate. Are there other collaborations that have had the same impact? Have you kept people in your life? Have you, had experiences due to other collaborations?
Well, the first business, when I first started my business, you could say that was a collaboration because I started with a business partner. So together we did a lot of training at that time, and we did a lot of corporate training. And as it's evolved, my business partner eventually wanted to step back to her first love, and I took over the business, and it's morphed more into, we still do corporate training, but morphed more into mentoring and group mentoring. Along the way, I published one of my books and met a publisher who is now one of my best friends. And she convinced me to write to a certain extent. And fast forward, I've got about 22 books now that are all different sorts of books, co-authored, authored, contributing author. And then there's been those collaborations with the books, yours, which we were doing. I've had the honor to facilitate 2 books, which are collaborations, and I've invited other authors in. which are very close to my heart. One was touched by breast cancer, and the other's forever changed by suicide. So those are some collaborations. And I guess you can also say I've done several workshops where I have collaborated. And then one of my latest books that I've been in a collaboration, which is another one where I've co-authored, 262 Women. And that collaboration has generated all sorts of opportunities and all sorts of different directions and places to go. So collaborations or joint ventures, whichever way you want to go, unbelievable. You don't know where they're going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you ever have an opportunity to do something with someone else or with a group of people, I would put your hand up, because out of that come a lot of lessons. When you collaborate, you're seeing different viewpoints, different ways of doing things. It helps you to grow, not only in your business or in your personal growth, but it helps you to grow your network, and it opens up more doors of opportunities, which you never know.
You never know. One of the ones you didn't know when you first went into that book was that you would end up at the Oscars, right? I'm assuming you had no idea that that would be an option when you decided to be a part of that book.
No. 262 Women, which was facilitated by Deb Drummond. That book originated about nearly 2 years ago now, close to 2 years. What was that, 2023? I was approached to put a chapter in a big book. I met this lady again because, again, I said yes to something. I was on an online summit speaking. She was there. We met. And after that, she asked me if I'd like to contribute a chapter to this huge book. And it was coming out on International Women's Day last year. So I looked at the book. I thought it was a great idea. International Women's Day, love it. And so I said, yes, I contributed a 2-page chapter. And it was a different sort of format. It was really great. It was talking about myself and then allowed to talk about my business. I had no idea at that time where that book was going. I was just thought, hey, this is another big book. 262 Women. It's probably one of the biggest books I've ever been in. It's a hardcover book. Fellow authors from right around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, since that book came out last year on International Women's Day, I have been on 5 summits. I've been on 3 podcasts. Last year in about September, the book was, she took the book to the Emmys as a gift. And I was absolutely over the moon. I was able to say, share out with my community, wow, the book that I'm in, a co-author in, has gone to the Emmys. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And then October last year, I got a call from her and she said, we've been asked to take the book to the Oscars Gifting Lounge. Would you like to be one of 4 people to go and represent the whole book at that lounge? I thought, let me think. Yes. I mean,
hell yes.
When you're given an opportunity like that, you have to say yes and then figure out how it's going to work. So February this year, that's where I flew off to Los Angeles. I was part of an absolutely unbelievable event, met heaps of different celebrities, writers, media, all sorts of people. Also attended another event where I was nominated for an award, and another one where it was an Oscars viewing event. So again, met more celebrities, ended up facing a gauntlet of media, 10 media interviews. All of this, people from saying yes to a chapter in a book 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Those are the things that can happen, right? When, first of all, you say yes, and you never know where these collaborations are going to go. I've made friends. I have started businesses. I have, all different things that, not to mention the other opportunities like other speaking engagements, other collaborations to do, that networking on a very gentle way. I find collaborations is a really gentle way to network without having to put yourself in a room and tell everybody, do all the things that are so uncomfortable for us. And so just allowing us to sort of get to know each other easily, right? And some you're going to click with more than others, but really important to be doing collaborations. I think that's amazing. What was your like most exciting moment being, well, besides knowing you were going to the Oscars, but of being there? Because you had to travel from Australia to the States for the Oscars, and so that was a big event. And then, you know, being there, what is your like I don't know, pinnacle moment of being there?
You know, it's really hard to pick one pinnacle moment because it was like a roller coaster. And I say to people over in your area, we call them expos here, over there you call them trade shows. And I've been sort of trying to explain to people what it was like. And I say, think of an expo or trade show on steroids and then even double that. The atmosphere, the vibe, it was unbelievable. I think one of the first things that I caught was the day before we signed all the books. There's 120 books we're signing. And, you know, as an author, you're sitting there and you're signing your chapter in that book, and you're signing the book and you're thinking, and you're looking around, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm going to meet all these celebrities and people. I'm giving a book away that I would never have thought I could be doing. And I'm signing 120 books. I can tell you what, my hand was a little bit sore after that. But I thought that was like oh my gosh moment. You sort of, I'm sitting there signing, and I looked up and looked at the table of fellow authors signing, and I'm thinking, wow, I didn't even know where this was going. And then I think the next part was you're in the gifting lounge, and these celebrities and media people and writers, you name it, influencers, they come through and you see their name, and you suddenly you're talking to them, and you're then asking them to sign books, and then you're wanting a photo with them. You've got chats, and then you've got more coming through, and it's like I think it was from about 10 a.m. To about 4:35 p.m. and I looked up, and that's where the day had gone. And I'd met people that I think one of the other things was fascinating was watching these celebrities, and you'd have a conversation, and they just, you know, it was a brilliant conversation, just natural. And then you'd ask them for a photo, or a media person would come by and want to have a thing. And it was the sudden switch in personality from just a general chit chat. Next thing, you know, like they were on point. And I loved it. I was watching it and I think, wow, you know, this is what their life's like. They switch from one to the other. I think that, and then the other one, I guess, was the second event I went to, which was the Easy Way Gala event, where I had the award ceremony and meeting celebrities. I think walking around, being on their gold carpet, having my photo taken, and then turning around and seeing at least 10 media people. And they just, I call it a gauntlet of media, because that's what it was like. It was 1 minute interviews, one after the other. Some of them were live, some were going to their TV shows, some were going to be recorded for their magazines. And I think that was another aha moment, because I'm thinking, I didn't even know that was going to happen. And I'm looking at it thinking, oh my God. And I guess about then I thought to myself, I'm so thankful that you are a speaker, and very thankful that you know how to do your 40-second introduction, because here's a really big 40-second introduction 20 times over. At the end of that, I thought, wow, it's an experience you would never have normally.
Yeah. And just from saying yes, I'll do a chapter in a book.
Or
Right?
from
Like, you
saying
have
yes.
no idea the doors that these things can open for you, right? Saying yes to a summit, or, you know, a chapter in a book, whatever it is, you have
Well,
no idea where it can go.
someone asked me about that on another interview I was having, and I stopped and thought, and actually I thought, you know where that came from? It was saying yes 30 years ago to walking into a room because I wanted to just make some friends because of a movement, to find out I was in a Toastmasters room where they wanted me to speak. Now, I wasn't told that was a Toastmasters room. I was just told, come along to this meeting and you'll make some friends. And I think to myself, I said yes to that. Everything that I've done since then in the last 30 years, it's come from saying yes to things, yes to starting my business, yes to taking on leadership roles, yes to speaking in different places, yes to going into network meetings, yes to writing my first book, yes to then following it up to a chapter in another book, which got me started 6 years ago in really writing, yes to a book that took me to the Oscars. I tell you what, saying yes, it can get you in a heap of trouble, but it can be really awesomely fun while you're doing it.
But you'll never know unless you say yes. And so,
You won't. You
yeah.
won't. And I'd rather say yes and then try and work out something. I mean, some of the things I've said yes to haven't always worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. If I stop myself from saying yes, the more yeses that have worked out would never have happened. And each time something didn't work out, I learned. It was a lesson and I grew. And it opened up other opportunities. Maybe that yes didn't work, but along the way of realizing that, another yes worked. So be open to opportunities, because otherwise you're going to stagnate people.
Yes, stagnate and just we don't move forward. If we don't move forward, then what are we doing, right? We're constantly need to be moving forward. I think I'm a big yes person as well. Now, on that note, though, you didn't say yes every time because you weren't afraid or you didn't have doubts, or you said yes regardless, I'm assuming. Is that
That's
true?
right. Absolutely. Look, people might listen to my story and they think, oh, wow, you've got it all together. No, people, I don't actually have it all together. What I do have is an idea of, I call it my 60 seconds of insane courage, and a belief in myself. Those two things have given me the courage to say yes, because it's scary. You know, I'm sitting here blithely saying to you, just say yes and everything will happen. No, it's not that easy. It really isn't. It's very scary to put yourself out there and do something new, and maybe do something that you never had done before, to take a step in an unknown direction where you don't know what's happening. And a lot of our fear is because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to eventuate from saying it. So it's a scary way of doing it. But the two things is, when you believe in yourself, and it took me a long time to understand that, to own who I was, warts and all. People, you don't have to be perfect. In fact, I say perfection is never going to be attained. You need to be imperfectly. You take imperfect action. So when you sit back and you understand who you are, what your strengths are, what weaknesses you have, that you believe in yourself, you have a core foundation that is a solid. So if things don't happen, you can fall back and say, well, okay, that didn't happen. But I know who I am. I know what my expertise is. I know how awesome I am. And I can own that. Mm-hmm. Then I've got my 60 seconds of insane courage. And that to me is, it's 20 seconds, just 20 seconds to acknowledge, okay, I'm absolutely petrified about this. I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And I own that fear. And then 20 seconds to say, goodbye, fear. This is an opportunity. I am good enough. Ignore the negative voices and bring in my positive voices. And then 20 seconds to smile and say yes, and open myself to an opportunity. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But along the way, I have allowed myself to grow, to change, and to accept that the fear is there, but it doesn't have to stop you. And I think the other thing I always realize is, it's never about me. It's always about the one person I may meet, the one person I may speak with, the one person that may read something I write, the one person that might listen to something I have to say, to watch a podcast I'm on, to listen to a presentation I give. That one person who at that particular time perhaps needed to hear the few words I have to say or write. And if that helps them change their life, or it helps them move forward in their journey, then all that fear that I've had is worth it. If I let fear stop me, I'm being selfish, because that person may never hear what I had to say.
I love that. That is such an important point, is that we don't know who needs to hear the words we have to say. And so if we don't show up, we don't know who's losing out because of it. And so, yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness, Trish. Thank you. I want to thank you so much for sharing. And we have all your information below where people can find you. Can you just speak to a little bit about how you can help people with what you do?
Well, my passion is helping you to be the unicorn in your business. I'm a speaker mentor, and that means that I work with you to have the confidence and self-belief to stand up and speak about your business. In other words, to be the unicorn, to own your uniqueness, and to say yes to opening up opportunities. And that's what my passion is. I work with you to do that. I have workshops, I do mentoring. All of that also leads into writing your book, doing your blogs, being on video, being a guest. It's all about getting out there, getting known, being seen, and all saying yes and having that courage and confidence and self-belief when you do, to be able to speak about your passion.
I love that. I love that. Well, again, I want to thank you so much for being here today. And to our listeners, thank you for being here as well. And Trish's information is below so that you can find her and check her out, see what she has going on. She also has a Facebook show that she does every week, and with lots of information. She's got lots of books, like she said, 20 some books out there. So definitely check her out, and we will see you next time on the Aligned Ambition Show.
Thank you so much.
Are you a woman interested in aligning your heart-centered business with your ethics, values, and life goals? Join our Aligned Business Building Mastermind for accountability, like-minded women who become your business colleagues to share your journey with, resources and trainings, and so much more. Join us for 1 month free using the link below. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on the Aligned Ambition Show.